Hello everyone, this is Christina back with our first in-community session of the year 2021. I am here with you're the president, right?
Yes.
Of the NAACP branch of the city of Richmond and El Cerrito, Mr. Willie. He is here with us today to talk about the NAACP, some of the things that they have going on, its history in the city of Richmond, and how you can participate as a Richmond resident or somebody within the surrounding area. So first off, Mr. Willie, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
This is awesome to have you here. So let's get into a little background. You're the president of the NAACP Richmond.
Yes.
Talk about some of the work you guys have done, the history of the NAACP in this city, and we'll kind of just go from there.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, thank you for this opportunity,
Absolutely.
and I refer to us as being a partner and a client for COBIA's here in Richmond.
Yes, sir.
The Richmond NAACP branch have a rich history. The charter takes the Richmond branch back to 1944, and that was long before I came to Richmond because I came here in the 60s.
Okay.
But when I came here, coming out of the South, I've always had a passion for the work of the NAACP, because if you grew up in the South, in the area in which I grew up, you most certainly had an affinity for the kind of equality that was missing and the access for institutional education, training, and job employment. And so I was fortunate enough to go to college when I got out of the military and landed here in Richmond.
Awesome.
And that's when I started to become involved with the city of Richmond about the late 70s, early 80s, and then became more intimately active by serving as an officer by late 90s, 1998 I think it was, when I took over as treasurer for the branch here.
Okay.
And so I worked with the branch as treasurer for up until I think it was 2011. And then from that time I did serve for a period of time as the president. And then there was a lull in actions of the branch here in Richmond, and then I came back in 2017. The work of the Richmond branch is kind of aligned with national agenda and guidelines.
Right.
And those are the things that we refer to in our bylaws, which you can find on the national line, on the website for the national office.
Okay.
And since we've been here, or last year, we were successful in launching our own website here for the Richmond branch.
Growth.
And obviously, resources tend to be limited.
Yes.
But we launched it in the fall of the year. We're getting ready to go through our major update of our website, or bringing things up to date on it, because we got information out there during the election period.
Right.
And some of that now is becoming stale, so we'll be updating that information for more up-to-date information about what we're doing.
Awesome. So let's talk about the local action, because like you're saying, the NAACP is a nationally recognized organization and has deep roots into the civil rights movement of the 60s and 70s. So talking about Richmond, California, and NAACP Richmond, what initiatives have you guys done in the past, and what things are you looking forward to help the community in 2021?
Okay. Well, the sole function of the NAACP is to be an advocate for the people who have less asset, and those who are finding themselves being not dealt with in a responsible way relative to safety nets of our society.
Gotcha.
So we are the oldest civil rights organization within the United States, and the NAACP itself, we just had our 111th year as a national organization. That's why I mentioned 1944 for the Richmond branch, so we've been around a while.
Let's take a pause. 111 years as the NAACP on a national organization. That is huge. That is huge, especially for an organization that has been kind of like the backbone to our wellness as a group or a collective. So you're saying, nice, sorry, I was like,
Sure.
111 years? I did not know that. So moving forward, sorry, so 1944 was when Richmond branch started.
Right. And because it was in the era just before 1909, or coming into the turn of the century, obviously lynching was a major thrust in terms of the launching of the NAACP, which came out of what they call the Niagara movement, which was up in upstate New York.
Gotcha. Okay.
So those are still the agenda for the most part, even though lynching as we understood it then is not what it is now.
Right.
But one could argue that what
It
is
ain't
happening
go-
with
it
us,
ain't go- it
lynching
ain't go
is
away.
still going on.
Right.
And
Right.
so, and then inequality, access, our big thrust in this branch, obviously education is high on our agenda, economic development is high on our agenda, health is very high on our agenda, public safety is very high on our agenda, and then relationship building in the community, like if you go back and study your history, you'll find out that the church played a major role in
Huge
the
role.
growth and the development of the people of color, or let's say black people, because people of color, you may be a little bit confused
Right.
nowadays, but
Black
the bottom line
people.
is that the NAACP never removed the word colored from its name because it is for all people of color. But obviously the emphasis is on blacks.
Yeah.
And we found that if you look at the civil rights movement and the laws that have been passed, a lot of it was centered around the movement of black folks, but when those laws came into existence, they helped everybody.
Right,
And-
right, right,
Right.
right. When you actually look at the civil rights laws of the 60s, it wasn't just black people that benefited. It was a huge collective, which we're not here for this argument. Some could say watered down what we actually needed, but it did help impact other collective groups as well.
Right. And so one of the big situations in the country, which is evidence of some of the things we're seeing happening now, is in the institutions, we inadvertently, maybe purposely, I don't want to argue that point at this time, developed systems that were slanted toward people of the majority race at that point.
Yeah.
And so, and it's assumed from many of them, even though we partner with them and we appreciate them coming back and helping us, they don't quite understand the I guess the context of many of the things that they're saying relative to being able to walk into an institution, and because of your color of your skin, you are automatically singled out. And then, you know, the issues I believe with black males is that the white population automatically see a black male as a threat. Automatically, without knowing anything about that person.
Right.
That's just it.
And nobody can argue that.
And let me just say, being transparent, some of us walking through our own community see brothers and sisters out on the street, and we don't want to come near them. So let's be mindful.
Period.
That I think it's more of a human issue, but obviously the society's got to be able to address that differently than I as a human being.
Right, and I appreciate, we appreciate transparency here at COVID Richmond, because if we're gonna have these conversations or make this community impact, it has to come from the understanding of, like you said, context. And so we can't say it's just this one piece. No, it's a circular issue. There are black people who look at black men and be like, ooh, There are black women who look at black men and vice versa, where we see each other as threats. And that is some of the work I know that you guys are doing, is not just the impact of what's happening outside of our community to us, but then also what's happening inside our community to us. So, I love this. I love a history lesson. One thing I want to say is I encourage you guys to actually speak to the elders within your community to find out this information, not just through COVID Richmond's Instagram, right? You just happened to be on at this moment, saw that we were live talking to the NAACP, and you're learning something, which is great. It's a moment, it's an opportunity, but also take this accountability into knowing your history and understanding the root of what we're coming from, so then when we have these conversations with Mr. Willie, that you have some context, or you can make some connections in your own life and how you can be an impact. And speaking of impact, so we know that you guys are gearing up for 2021. Black History Month is right around the corner. But one thing I want to emphasize is involvement. So when you say access, and especially in this city, what we're realizing is when we say access, that there's a group of people who make decisions and then just to send the information to the people, where access is supposed to be a mutual exchange and meeting in between the community and leadership. So how can people, one, get access to you guys for resources, but two, I want to also say involvement. How can they volunteer? How can they be a part? Whether they sign up, all that stuff.
Okay, let me start first by talking about the organization just briefly itself, and how do you get into the organization and become a part of the help that is needed in the community.
Absolutely.
The organization is a membership organization. We are so antiquated that our annual membership is only $30 a year.
Hold on, 30? Y'all pay 20 something to get into a club. $30 to be a member of the NAACP Richmond branch. Just I need y'all to make the correlation. So $30 for the year.
Right, and the membership base grows from those who join, and though that $30 memberships fee also is distributed between the national organization and the local branches. And so we get to keep a share of that. The share is 40% that we keep. That is kind of a turnoff, but you'd be surprised what you can do with 40% of something
versus 40% nothing.
And then persons are much concerned about, that 60% that goes to national. But I think our effort is with the local, so we want to encourage people to join. And when you join, try to not come with your own better understanding of what the organization is than those who are in it.
You might want to repeat that one more time, just in case the people in the back didn't hear it. But go ahead, come in with.
Yeah, and recognizing transparency, I have talked to persons who are Black, says that they are automatically members of the NAACP because they're Black. And I operate on the premise that yes, if you need help and you come and is there something I can do for you, I'm not going to ask you for a membership.
Right.
I'm going to help you.
Right.
Now, if I help you or whether I don't help you, if I give you the attention, would you consider coming in, joining, and then you're coming with talent, resources, abilities, come on in. But we are a structured organization, and the structure is kind of defined how you come in and work. Right. And our work is done through standing committees. There are about 18 standing committees of the branch.
Okay.
And I would argue that they cover everything you would need to cover in a community.
Right.
Our branch most certainly cannot man 18 standing committees.
Right.
Of that 18 standing committees, many of them are what I call have outside interests. They go out into the community as a community engagement function, and those that are inside, which helps us to make the organization strong and strong administratively, because finance, legal redress, membership chair, those are internal functions of the branch.
Right.
And then those things I mentioned about health education, public safety, economic development, political action, they go out in the community. And once a month, those standing committee chairs with the officers meet in an executive committee meeting to hear the work. And then what we do is take those reports and send them out to the general membership so that you know what's going on.
Right.
Or you have attended a meeting and somehow got the attention that we need to look into a matter. We turn that matter over to a standing committee who would go out and do the homework, so to speak. That homework comes back and is reviewed by the executive committee, and then a decision is made to send that out to the general membership. So when you come to the general membership meeting, they're basically informational meetings, and here we've been highlighting a specific function of the community at all of our general membership meetings. We take 30 minutes of that 2-hour time frame that we've allocated to hear from specific institutions like the school district, the police force, health department, services, industry, all of them. We will offer an opportunity for them to come and share with us what they're doing, or so we can ask them questions about what they're doing in terms of the bettering our community.
Got you. So from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, there are levels into how you can be involved in NAACP Richmond. I know you guys just had your election, so you're past that part.
Right.
But for this year, volunteering, going to general meetings, paying the $30 for membership, all of that is a way that you can be involved in helping NAACP Richmond. It seems like here, so Jacqueline says, Richmond City is so lucky to have you guys.
Oh, okay.
And I hope the use of the resources they have will be successful. So there are people who see what you guys are doing and are excited about the work that you have coming forward and are generally interested in wanting to make sure that they stay connected. So you said that you have a website?
Yes.
What's the website address?
The website is www.naacp NAACP Richmond, RICHMONDCA.org.
Okay.
Again, www.naacprichmondca.org.
NAACP Richmond, CA, like California.org. We have a question that says, how can others use this? Do you mind elaborating on exactly what you mean by what are others using? And then maybe we can get to your question before we wrap up this session. But I'm very excited to see what you guys have coming in. I know I have been saying, and transparency, holding my feet to the fire. I've been saying for like a year, I need to join. So I'm making a commitment by the end of this week that you will have my membership dues for the year.
Okay.
So that way I have done my part, not just because of the NAACP and its historical significance, but as somebody who works at CoBiz Richmond as a digital media manager, and I understand telling story and narrative and things like that, I have resources that I can offer to help you guys as well. But then also, I'm a member of the community and I need to know what's going on, and I also need to know how I can be involved outside of just this space. And we're so happy that we have you guys here in collaboration, not just clients because you guys are members, but then also as you said, collaborators, as partners, because we can only come out of this stronger together. So they did elaborate. Better question, what are they bringing to Richmond and how is CoBiz a part of it? So if you want to know more details about what the NAACP is doing this year, which is why we dropped the web address, so go to NAACPRichmondCA.com. In terms of how CoBiz is a support of the NAACP Richmond, they are currently members of our space, so they utilize our space to be able to facilitate their meetings and their mailings and things like that. And then we are also direct support to any programs that they do. So if they come to us and they need, let's say, a photographer. I just say that because I'm the resident, I'm just the resident photographer, right? I'm the digital media manager of the space. So if they say, well, we need flyers done or we need something done, we are able to be a resource to them because I also do all the flyers of the space, right? Or if he needs to talk to Wesley, or there needs to be a bigger collaboration, or they need money, whatever it is that they need as an organization, and this is why we talk collaboration so deeply at CoBiz, we are here for them in the wheelhouse that we can be there for them. And we act this way with all of our collaborations and all of our partners, because again, with 2020 and the pandemic, 2021 and the pandemic, there is it's obvious to even the blind that we can only really come out of this utilizing each other and being a resource to each other. And so that is how we have connected as an organization. So I would love to get all the information I need. Perfect. Go ahead and if you want, DM us on the CoBiz Instagram and then book a tour. I don't know if you've been here before, but book a tour. We have an incubator program, all that other stuff, different resources that you and I are going to debrief later. But we have an incubation program for small business owners to kind of go from idea to you are in a building or you're distributing a service or what have you. So, but this is the connection that we're talking about. So we could say, Mr. Willie, we have an incubator program, and he goes, NAACP members, there is an incubator program at CoBiz Richmond. Mr. Willie, we have a podcast incubator program. There's a podcast incubator program at CoBiz Richmond, so that way our people, Black people, are actually being able to utilize the resources that we have. So.
Just let me say a word about the elections and the new administration, if I may.
By all means.
Oh, okay.
This is your floor. I'm just here to guide your floor. That's
thank you. The NAACP holds its elections biannually. So 2018, I was elected. In 2020, I ran for re-election and was re-elected. So thanks to those persons who did vote for me. But I'm appreciative of all those people who took the time to vote in that election. It's important. And we had in excess of, sent out about 250 plus invites to vote. And I think we got like almost 160, 70 that responded and did cast their vote. And while if I had lost, my passion for the work would not have gone away. So anyone who did vote, and because your candidate did not win, please, we invite you to come back and join us. Bring your thoughts and your ideas. they can come into the branch through the methods that we use. We're in the process of resetting because like every other organization, once you have a new administration, your standing committees were vacated as of December 31, 2020. We had our first meeting of the year with newly elected officers.
Hey, congratulations.
We still have some vacancies.
Okay.
And in addition to that, please understand there's an oath of office that you have, that the national organization require you to take. And yes, you are elected, office elect until you take the oath of office. But because we are staffing, manning up, we have not had that oath of office. So if someone make an inference to you about being the president or vice president elect, please don't take that as an insult. It simply means once we have the installation of officers, then you become official. But that's no different than any other organization.
Right, it's no different than the government because it's Biden elect right now, and he hasn't taken the oath, so it works in the same capacity.
And they've already set the date when the old officers' term expire and the new officers come in, and then you have your installation or take the oath of office. And as an officer, please read that oath of office. It is challenging, but it's doable. And don't think that persons are not unnecessarily getting in your space, because we can define lanes through the standing committees or as an elected office that you are to concentrate your efforts. And I say as an active member of the branch, or particularly an officer, I challenge you to say, if you can set aside 3 to 5 hours a month, that will help us tremendously. It may take more time, but if you're giving us at least 3 to 5 hours of your time a month, we can do tremendous things with this branch in this area.
Period. And on that note, I'd like to thank Mr. Willie once again for coming to COVID, talking to you guys. This is not the only time you will see him. We have a standing date. The first Tuesday of every month will be updates and highlights for the NAACP. They're going on, what they have coming up on their calendar. And then anything that they need from the community, they can come here and ask you guys. I will be posting this conversation later on today in our IGTV. So if you are able to watch it and you want to share with somebody, or you're like, hey, you need to get on right now, and they weren't able to see it, it's all right. I'll have it for you guys later on today on the grid. Look out for that. Again, thank you so much, Mr. Willie, for coming by. I got a history lesson. I've been made accountable, so y'all can go ahead and attack me later if I don't sign up for my membership.
Don't worry, I'm going to be following up with her. I'm going to continue to follow up with her. I challenged her some time ago, but that's okay.
He did, and I did not. That's why I said Front Street. I will take the transparency. I will make sure by the end of this week I am signed up, so I am not only just tied and dialed in here, but I'm dialed in across my community.
I understand, yes.
All right, y'all. So thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate everyone for being here today. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Remember, we can only come out stronger together. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye.